You know, I spent more than 5 years on this channel explaining why freedom of speech is important and why it's a human right. Because at the end of the day, it's just expressing what's on your mind. And the opposite of that is thought policing, which, in my opinion, is bad, but you guys will see what I mean about that in my next video. However, I don't think I managed to persuade many leftists. But Elon Musk managed to persuade more than half of them by applying the same rules that the leftists create, applying them on the journalists, and all of them, all of a sudden, are using my fucking talking points as if they've been watching my channel since day one. So if you guys remember, some journalists got banned from Twitter for doxing. Now, the whole idea of banning people from doxing comes from the left. In fact, the whole Trust and Safety Council and all that bullshit comes from the left. In 2014, there was no Trust and Safety Council. It was the left that started with, oh my god, online bullying, reclaim the internet, keep women safe, meh, meh, meh. And that's when they created the system for censorship. But the thing is, like, I have seen journalists dox, like Taylor Lorenz, you know, going to the actual house of a person and not get punished for it. They've been managed to getting away with this for so long that they believe they're above the rules that they created. And now that the rules are applied to them, they're upset. So Elon Musk banned a lot of journalists for doxing. Now, they claim it wasn't doxing, but he points out that in the articles they released, there was a link to the guy which tracked his private jet, and he considers that to be doxing. You know, whatever. But the thing is, there have been so many people banned unfairly on Twitter and on social media over things that were in violation of the rules. Things like jokes or metaphors. Like, for example, Steve Bannon got banned from YouTube for using a metaphor. And that was a terms of service violation. His entire channel shut down. How many journalists spoke against that? Like, how many journalists came out and said, you know what, like, his ban is unfair. Yeah, like, he didn't do it. I mean, you know, he is a prominent figure at the end of the day. Steven Crowder got banned for jokes. Where were the journalists trying to defend? Oh, now that they're getting banned, they're like, oh, well, it was an unfair ban. I mean, sure, but, like, you wanted private companies to have the power to decide who gets to speak and who doesn't. And you gave all the power to these private companies to decide what is a violation of their terms and what isn't. So please spare me. Secondly, the funniest thing is that they're complaining that they now have to delete the tweet that is the problematic one. And many of these journalists don't want to delete the tweet, so they're not coming back on Twitter. Again, the ban isn't even permanent in their case, it's just a temporary suspension. But the thing is, like, I've been saying just how horrible the Twitter system is since day one. I was like, you know, if you think a tweet is a violation, fucking delete it. But no, like, they want you to delete it. Like, they're trying to control how you think. So basically, when you do a violation, like, you gotta delete the tweet, the naughty tweet. You gotta use your own hand in order to delete it if you want to come back, right? And I was saying that it's fucked up. Now that it's happening to the journalists, they understand just how fucked up it is. But you know what? Everyone else that got banned from Twitter had to delete their tweet. Every single other... I got suspended a couple of weeks ago because I made an edgy joke. I had to delete that joke. It was a fucking good joke, you know? But, like, I had to delete it. So shut the fuck up. You're literally like everyone else. But what's even funnier is that this person from the Washington Compost who's writing this article, let's see who they are. Paul Fari. I hope I pronounced it correct. Like, he doesn't understand why some journalists are still on Twitter, despite the fact that Twitter is attacking the journalist class. I can explain. Journalists, every single one of them, has a value, right? And depending on how valuable you are as a journalist, you can get jobs at more important publications and you can get a raise. Or if you're not valuable, you can get fired and replaced. Pretty much like every other profession. So what does it mean to be valuable as a journalist? Well, apparently it's not about writing good articles or writing the truth. No, what it means is to have social media reach. So the more people you have on Twitter, the more prominent you are. And if you can have people that actually engage with what you want to do, so for example, you don't like Steven Crowder and you want to encourage your followers to mass report or flag him or take him down, right? If you actually get that to do that, like if you can pull Steven Crowder off the air, well, you know, you're a very prestigious journalist. You have a lot of value. And this is why you get to see all of these journalists being upset that their blue check marks is taken away, because like their influence is taken away. This is why they care so much about Twitter, because it's literally their work. It's their currency in their journalistic world. So they can't afford not to be on Twitter. Like maybe one day, if there's going to be a replacement for Twitter for their class, like I don't know, the Tumblr or whatever, maybe then they are going to say, yeah, sure. But until that day comes, they can't afford not to be on Twitter. They don't care. And this whole thing, it's like, oh, well, Twitter is making arbitrary rules in order to target journalists. Like, shut the fuck up. Twitter has been making arbitrary rules in order to target right-wingers, and I didn't hear you complain. And by the way, it's not targeting journalists, it's targeting corporate journalists. Like, what? Why should I care about corporate journalists more than I care about citizen journalists? I mean, YouTube, for example, this platform, had Susan Wojcicki say that, why should a guy in his basement, I guess she was talking about moi, but I'm not in my basement, but I think I fit the category. Why should a guy in his basement be able to compete with an authoritative source? Right? So, like, fuck citizens journalists, right? Like, they don't matter. Like, the corporate journalists are more important. So, on every other platform, you get the corporate journalist askist, but when you have a platform where the journalist is treated exactly the same like everyone else and the rules should apply the same, I guarantee to you, if this keeps up, you're going to see more journalists argue for less censorship and less TOS. Because now it applies to them. If it doesn't apply to them, I mean, from their perspective, they should be on a platform where no one has to speak besides them. So that's very interesting. And on top of that, they didn't complain when the New York Times got censored. They didn't complain when you had like arbitrary rules such as you're not allowed to talk about information before an election if it comes from a hacked source. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, who cares if it's from a hacked source? Is it true or not? If it's true, then it's good information. But now, apparently, according to the Twitter files, the FBI made pressure on Twitter for that to happen, and the journalists shut the fuck up. You know, if Watergate would happen today, the journalists would be quiet. They wouldn't even care about it. So, they expect random individuals like myself to care about their plight and suffering now. When I don't even view it as a plight and suffering. I view it like being treated normally. Like, everyone else has been treated exactly like them. So let's look at the comments and see on the Washington Post what people are saying. Musk, just another mendacious, hypocritical Republican. Pretense about the First Amendment. They really cover all the bases, don't they? Why are you still talking about Twitter? Delete it already. They should walk away. Well, I already explained why they can't walk away. Basically, it's subtle fascism. Holy shit. You know what I love about fascism? Apparently, fascism is literally everything besides shutting down people's businesses, locking people up in their homes, demanding that people show QR, to their waiters. That is not fascism. Alright? Like, that is not fascism. When you go and protest and the bank seize your money, that is not What is fascism? Elon Musk buying journalists on Twitter. Over time, they just keep pushing the outcome. Yeah. No, so, it's interesting that at least here, you have 225 people, out of which maybe it's like half of this that are like, yes, Elon Musk bad. But it's interesting, like this is the Washington Post, and all they got is 225 comments. And this is due to the fact that most of it is curated. So, like, if you go to the Washington Post and you say, no, Elon Musk did the good job, you know, like, he did the right thing, I don't know if your comment is going to pop up. I think it might have disabilities. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.